PODIUM TV, new media with a difference. Welcome to the podium. It's your host, Spencer Anyemelo, and once again I'm back with another program. The Podium is a program on PODIUM Television, which is an online station where we bring you political programs, we bring you lifestyle programs, and we have our charitable program called the Golden Pot of Hope. Today is Women's International Day, and I have a guest who is she just blazing the trail in the UK and in Nigeria too. She's a councillor in Wolverhampton, and luckily for us in Nigeria, in Imo State, she has been given a prestigious position as the SA to the new governor of Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma. Her name is Cllr Ceila Hibbert, and you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
I know you recently came back from Nigeria, and you know, people have been saying, how can a young lady like you go back to Nigeria? Tell us a bit about how you, about yourself first, and then we'll move on to how you got to, Nigeria.
Okay, so my name is Cllr Ceila Hibbert. I know it's a long name, but yeah. And I live here in United Kingdom with my family.
Okay.
But I was actually born in Nigeria and brought up in Nigeria in Jos, Plateau State.
Okay.
And then my first degree was actually in Owerri, because we later, I moved when I was due to start my university. My parents suggested I go back to my actual state, which is Imo State. So
you came back from the north? Yes,
I went from the north to the east, and it was a totally different kind of lifestyles. Yeah. So I had to start learning new stuff. But luckily, actually, I speak Igbo anyway. I speak Hausa, but I also speak Igbo. So it was, in terms of language and communication, it was easy for me to integrate. But then in terms of lifestyles, it was completely worlds apart.
Did you learn your Igbo in the north?
I learned my Igbo in my house. My father and my mother
always spoke Igbo,
so they spoke Igbo, but I learned Hausa first in the schools and within my friend circles.
Yes.
So yes, and then I moved to United Kingdom, and my postgraduate is here in UK.
Okay, so tell us a bit about, we heard recently you became you were the councillor, but we're going to get back to the councillor's bit. But how did you manage to get your job in Nigeria as the SA? Because it's difficult for some of us in diaspora to be able to even apply for any jobs or anything, or get into the government. How did you manage to do it?
So since moving in the UK, I've always kept in touch with Nigerian community here in the UK, and also with Nigeria in Nigeria. I would always travel. I'll have the blood of Nigeria running in my vein. So even when I came here, I knew I have to keep in touch with my roots. And so I would, every once or twice a year, I would be in Nigeria. I would go to Nigeria with my family. So in terms of how did I get my job, I think pretty much it's, if I want to make it short and nice and sweet, like a Nigerian and speaking broken, I'll say Nagodo.
Nagodo. Okay, Nagodo.
But then, if I want to go into it a bit deeper, I'd say it's a combination of different things, being in the right place at the right time, and knowing, being in the right place at the right time, because I'm an elected councillor in the UK, so the business of governance is that I'm very familiar with.
Even how did you get to do that in the UK? For a black person in London, it's quite difficult.
And then
how did you manage to do that?
I actually don't live in London, I live outside London, so it's even
even much more difficult. Isn't it? Yeah.
So, but I grew up in a kind of political home anyway. My father was the Olu Senatorial Zone chairman in Plateau State. So for a long period of time, they kept returning him. So our past governor, Rochas, would come to our sitting room for meetings. So I've met quite a lot of people.
Okay.
So I sort of grew up in the political kind of home.
Yeah.
You know, even though my dad was, I would say, a local politician, but those are the foundations I had growing up. So I was familiar. I'm familiar with democracy. I'm familiar with people, rapport, you know, engagement. So I'm familiar with all that kind of things. So when I came to the UK, luckily, you know, they're very women friendly. It's Women International Day, so happy International Women International Day to every woman watching and every he for she men watching out there. So then my desire for politics and everything sort of just
grew from there.
Yeah, got stimulated that way, and just it's just non-stop for me. So how did I get my job? Is recommendation. So people are like, we have a young girl who is a graduate of Imo State University, who is an Igbo, who speaks Igbo fluently, who is already familiar with the business of governance, who is daring. So why not? You know, even though I'm in my 30s. You know, a couple of people said, you need to come home, you need to come and show what you have, you need to come and pitch yourself. And then I went, but luckily as well, I was there during the campaign, so I went on a few campaigns for this present governor. And the first day he saw me, he was like, Diaspora, that was the first name he called me. So I think, you know, I think he was just meant to happen. It is God.
And you know, you say diaspora, that office of diaspora, is it really a necessary office to have?
It is absolutely necessary. It is absolutely necessary. In fact, just recently I found out that diaspora has remitted $19.7 billion in 2016, and in 2017 they remitted about $22 billion. So this is a lot of money.
It's an economy.
In fact,
it's even enough to run more than some economies.
Exactly, because in 2016 and 2017 they actually remitted more than the money that was gotten from exportation of oil. So that gives you, an idea of what we're talking about. So the office of the diaspora office cannot be overemphasized. I think it's a long time coming project. We should have had it years and years ago, but we have it now, and we're going to make the most out of it.
And how are you going to use it to benefit the ordinary Imolite in the village? You know, like, I know you're looking at diasporans, but how would that translate to dividends on ground in Nigeria?
So this is what the office is about. It's a two-way street kind of office. So we're looking after the affairs of diasporans here in the diaspora, but we're also trying to leverage the resources that we have here in the diaspora in our states. So yes, we will be doing a lot, and now, you know, I have my strategy. I'm developing my strategy documents. I have 6 strategies I want to work with in the next 2-3 years. So that strategy has a lot to do with bringing the resources from here and leveraging in Imo State. So we have women's empowerment. We will have a lot of women going from here to the schools, you know, and just educating the young girls. I think the mission there to educate the young girls is one that is really, really close to my heart. I think we can give back a lot. Just words can actually change somebody's perception and vision and dreams.
That's true.
And I know this for sure because words changed me when I came into this England. You know, I went to seminars, I had people talking, and it changed me forever. So we can be able to export this back home, and then obviously concrete stuff. And
And I heard you in one of your speeches. You talked about the smart city. How's that gonna benefit us? So obviously, for instance, I grew up in Owerri, but I still want to have my own mansion in Owerri. So for instance, so how is that gonna help me if I want to do I do want to key in?
So this is a pet project I'm absolutely excited about. You know, as someone that sits on the planning committee in England, in my council, I'm so excited about this because it's going to be affordable and it's going to be accessible. Up until now, what we have is people developing in the state and then asking exorbitant rates on these developments. And me and you know how it works here in the diaspora. People work every month, people plan. You know, you don't want to break people's budgets. You don't want to make people anxious because, you know, but you want to provide people. An average Nigerian wants to own a property back home.
That's true.
So how do we make this, affordable? How do we make this accessible? How do we make an ordinary man here in the diaspora actually own a property in Nigeria? So this is the idea behind the smart city for me. It's not a money-making venture. It's leveling up what we didn't have in the past. So we're going to have a kind of mortgage where people are tailored, where the arrangement is tailored according to your income.
Is there going to be some sort of, we have credit checks here and all that? How are you going to
will have credit checks.
Is it going to be based on the same system here, or is it going to be?
We will work very closely. We have local content. We'll make sure it works locally and works here as well. But pretty much people coming from diaspora, I don't want to be boastful, but we meet standard level, standard checks and balances. I'll give us that.
Okay.
So I don't think we'll have a problem in terms of that, but we will do due diligence. But ultimately, we will be providing people's own homes. People who own a home in the heart of the city, they can call their own home, and that will facilitate more people coming back to Imo State. So I think it's a giving back.
It's an initiative to give back. Okay, and then another thing is, in Nigeria as a federation, we have a diasporan lady who's Abike Dabiri, for instance. I'd like to know what you're going to do slightly different, because people have been complaining about her in the UK, as when she's not really connecting with. That's how they have the perception with people on here. So how are you going to connect with Imolites here in London? Well, in the UK as well.
So
are you going to have town halls? Are you reachable? Do you have any social media handles that people can reach you on?
Yes, but before I go into that, I want to put in record that my experience of Abike Dabiri is actually different. Okay. I think she's a formidable woman. Yeah. I think she has zoomed in that attention we always have needed on the diaspora affairs. Yes. She brought diaspora issues into prominence, so we have to give her that. Okay. So that's for the records. Yeah. So what am I going to do in addition to what she is doing is, I've talked about my 6th strategy. In terms of connectivity, I'm very, very approachable. Yeah. I'm very available. Okay. Are you
going to have security around you?
I'm not going to have security. We don't need individual security. What we need is a community security where goods, services, people, lives and livelihoods are secure. Yes. That's what we should be aiming for, not individual security. Yes. So in terms of I will be approachable, I'll be accountable. Okay. I'm used to the high levels of scrutinized governance that we have in the UK. I'll be using the same standards to deliver for our people. Yes. So I would have town hall meetings. I have my phone 24 hours. Of course, people shouldn't call me when I'm sleeping. But if it's an emergency, of course I'll use my phone. And we have social media. We already set up the website www.imodiaspora.com. We have Imo Diaspora Facebook. We have diaspora_Imo on Twitter, and we're active. I'm in my 30s, so one of the things I'm bringing to the table is Jet Media. We will be connecting with people across the globe, and we'll make sure that every single voice is carried along in the decisions that we make in the diaspora.
And then in terms of the way the governor emerged at the moment, what would you say to Imolites in terms of saving some of the pain that's really palpable at the moment in Imo State?
So in every judgment there is, there must be a mixed feelings in every judgment. Yes. So what I want to urge every single Imo person out there is, if you're on the opposite side of the outcome of this judgment, I urge you to just come on board. Our government is a new government. Our governor, His Excellency Hope Uzodimma, is someone I think he's just too kind actually to a fault. Yeah. He's someone, if he has 20 naira in his pocket, would give 19 naira to the people and keep 1 naira for himself. Yes. I don't know how this is going to compute actually in terms of governance, because he's just too kind. Yes. So this is the man that I know, I've come to know. Yes. So in that, I find some solace in that kind of quality in him as our governor, because he wouldn't eat when other people are hungry. Okay. I can guarantee you that. Yes. So I have absolute faith that he will look after the masses first. He will put the people first before privilege. He will look after the interest of the masses first before his own interest. Okay,
and I've got 2 more questions for you, and it's just going to be quickly. The first one is to do with coronavirus. Imolites, what advice do you have? Because we might have some of Imo people stranded even in China. Even haven't you? Well, do you know if there's anywhere Imolite in Wuhan?
The outbreak started in Wuhan, isn't it? Yeah. And so we have about 50 Nigerian students in Wuhan who are sort of still in that red zone. Yeah. So I am liaising with the federal, our federal office, which is the diaspora office in Abuja. Yes. We're keeping an eye on the situation. if there is necessity to evacuate, which I think there is, but we're working on the logistics. These things don't just happen overnight, so we're working on the logistics. We are very aware of the fact that what's going on. We know we have about 50 Nigerians in Wuhan, where the outbreak started in the first place. We're making sure that we're in contact, and hopefully the briefing comes from federal government, so I wouldn't make decisions. I don't know how many of these 50 people identify as Imolites, but we will get that data broken down to us in due course.
And then finally, you said you were a professional footballer. Can I go football? Can you do some kick-ups for me? No, seriously, do you play football? Do you play?
Yes, I play football.
Women's football?
I play women's football. In fact, I'm a trained FA coach, a qualified FA coach and FA referee. When I had injuries, I went into coaching.
So you could actually become the Nigerian coach
if I wanted to, but now I'm down in the political lane. My two daughters are play professional football as I speak to you. But yes, I do. I played professional. I played forward, and I love football.
Okay. Cllr Ceila, thanks for coming on the podium.
Thank you so
much.
much.
Private TV. And please tell Nigerians, when you go back, tell the governor about private television in the UK.
Hello, governor. Please hear about
it.
No, thank you so much for having me on your channel. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've been talking to Cllr Ceila Hibbert. She's the current SA to Governor Hope Uzodinma and Imo State on diaspora matters. Keep watching private television. It's your boy Spencer Anywelu. Stay tuned. Bye.
PrimeView TV, new media with a difference.